You're watching Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. This is the Sacramento Report. I'm Jaime Garza, joined today by Mario Guerrero. He is the Government Affairs Director for Equality California. This is the largest lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights advocacy organization. And recently, Mario, the Fair Education Act was passed, yet we know it's running into some hurdles. Let's refresh everybody as to what the act really is and what it intends to do, and then we'll talk about the second half in a second.
Absolutely. The Fair Education Act stands for the Fair, Accurate, Inclusive, and Respectful Education Act. It was authored by Senator Mark Leno, and what the bill essentially does is that it requires the contributions of LGBT people, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people, to be included in social science curriculum, much like we include the contributions of Latinos, African Americans, and other minority groups who have been, in some cases, missing, deleted from our history books until they were required to, the education system was required to include them.
And this is really just an act that says, we want you to take time in our school districts to teach our young people about the important contributions and what it really means. The purpose of that is basically what then? Is it just basically to say, okay, these folks are gay or lesbian and they made these contributions, or is it to basically elevate some kind of movement, as some people might look at it?
Well, I think it's very much what the governor said when he signed the bill, which was that this bill makes California have an honest history. The contributions of Latinos, of African Americans, are all important, and they're important for a number of reasons, primarily though because we've been part of culture and society. We've shaped it. We've made certain accomplishments that make this state and this country much stronger and better in what it is. And so the contributions of LGBT people are just as important. We've had a whole civil rights movement on equality, and it's important that students know about that and learn from that.
There are a lot of people out there who want to have the opportunity to have school district opt out on teaching this portion of history, that they don't believe it qualifies as it does for other minority groups. Do you agree with that? And if not, why?
Absolutely disagree. This piece of education is very much important to all students to learn, much like we would want every student in our school system to learn about women's rights and the African American civil rights struggle. I think it's important that they also know about the LGBT civil rights struggle, and definitely each of these civil rights movements is unique and strong and has its own stories, but they have a lot of parallels, that you have a minority group that was treated differently, and that's not right. And so I think it is important that everyone learns about them.
Well, I guess this is the question, is that if the folks who are pushing this idea of opting out, does that mean that a school district can opt out and not have to talk about Latino history or the civil rights movement with Dr. Martin Luther King for the African American community, things like that? And then do we start to choose different groups of people instead of being all inclusive?
That's exactly right. And under California law, there are very limited exceptions for when parents can opt their kids out of curriculum, and that is when they're teaching about sexual health. And that's fine, but that's not what this is about. This is about an honest history, an inclusive history, a respectful history that is inclusive of everyone's contributions.
10 seconds left. Who do you think is behind trying to get this opt-out?
Oh, well, we know it's the Capital Resource Institute and a number of other organizations that simply don't want fair education to move forward.
Mario Guerrero, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you at home for watching Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. This has been the Sacramento Report. Don't forget, you can watch this interview and others by going to My Government On Demand, and you'll find that on Channel 1.